on Sivir, but it still leaves Jinx, Lucian up and available for selection if they wanted to go that route.
I feel like the 80... It could be banned out for the fact that they are just going for somewhat of a chase comp. If Mundo doesn't get banned out, well, absolutely.
Elise first pick,
banned out.
Shyvana's still available as well.
Makes it through.
Renekton's still up. So I think if Shyvana gets picked...
They left it to two of the... Yeah.
Yeah, I think if Shyvana gets picked, Renekton will most likely be the response, and it might be something like a Renekton Elise. It might be the same first and second pick that we've seen from TSM in the previous game. I'm So Fresh does play Elise, and he does like to play that type of champion.
We'll see. Odd Ones Vi is also open as well, and they'll have a definite awesome backline synergy if they take that with Shyvana. Shyvana is going to get locked in by Dyrus. We'll actually have to see where that goes. It'd be interesting to see Alvin play it, but it's just such domination in top lane.
Yeah, it really was. Dyrus and Mew didn't necessarily trade 1v1, but the moment they got involved in the team fights, you've seen what a difference impact. Unstoppable Force not hitting anyone because of good flashes, and Dyrus going in 4v1 and winning, you know? So I think Mew's gonna have to pick a champion that can at least respond it and do something against Shyvana. Renekton is, in my mind, what they should be picking.
They do have time. 15 seconds left on the clock for Lemondogs. They are absolutely deciding. They don't want a special on that, so kind of really taking the playmaking out of bottom lane with a few picks there, and it looks like they do lock in that Renekton.
So I'm happy to see the Renekton lock in. I don't know if TSM would have locked it in. I don't know if Oddone would have taken jungle Shyvana or not, but it does allow him to sit on Elise again if he wants to go for that route, you know? Go for the jungle Elise, and then maybe lock in another support. They could go for another Taric if they wanted to go that route. So there's a lot of options available for both of these teams. Having the Thresh also tells you that Lemondogs want to have a little bit more presence in lane, want to try and maybe pick up a little bit more kills. Their Annie in the previous matchup just got too far behind too early and couldn't contest. And I think Thresh has more versatility, more options to help you if you do get behind. You can lantern gank, you can hook, box is good for zone control, etc.
So we do see that Elise being locked in by the Odd One, his champion that got him to Challenger. He played quite a bit of that and his road up to that tier. Bjergsen locking in the Lucian for Wild Turtle. We'll probably see him leaving his pick for last as well. A lot of the dip, duck, dive composition coming in here from Lemondogs, so they look like they want to stay safe and actually not go for so much of the press R in comp.
I already feel a little bit better about what I'm seeing. I feel like this composition is a little bit more current, if I can use that term. And I also think that maybe Lee Sin is not the best option because I feel like Shyvana and Elise are not really going to be threatened by Elise as the game goes on. However, swapping to the Vi, I'm much happier about this pick because he can get onto the Lucian in the back line. And if Bjergsen wants to go play another squishy mid laner, like say a Ziggs or a LeBlanc, Vi's instantly going to be in his face and chasing him down.
We'll have to see where they decide to continue with their picks. Ezreal being locked in. Last one is going to be the mid, but ooh, it looks like that Zed will be the lock-in as well. Annie going on the support, so Special keeps his stun lockdown, potential kill in the lane. This is going to be big for TSM. They have really nice starting lanes.
And those were instant locks as well. I mean, that Zed Annie there was no hesitation at all. We've seen Zed being played yesterday by Jezus for SK. It didn't work against the tanky lineup. I feel like the potential for failure is still there as well. That Renekton and Vi could get to a point where they can't get, they're not worried, they're not threatened. The Sion pickup is going to be a potential counter to Zed, but the early levels are so crucial. If Schleier's Sion falls behind, he's not going to be able to survive long enough to get Death's Caress down, get the stun, and back away. But I'm not sure with this pick. I feel like Lemondogs are still playing old school champions and trying to make it work.
It's got to be comfort when you come into this.
I mean, this is me assuming it's AP mid. Assuming.
All right, we'll assume. So yeah, but coming into this, we see the Zed pick up again. Quite a tanky team. We kind of heard the guys talking yesterday, Peke and Ja, that Zed will fall off in this patch with the amount of tankiness, the amount of other champions like the jungler coming out of a farm jungle now to be that big. Not everybody's as killable as they were before.
No, definitely not. And they haven't swapped yet. And I'm going to keep my eye on the timers here and let you know as it goes on, as it loads up. But if that's going to be top lane Sion, top lane AP Sion's not a thing. I mean, it was never a thing we've seen. However, Bruiser top lane Sion, is played by some people. And the lifesteal that you can get, the threat potential if you do build in Bruiser,
Stack up that
what is a
HP.
Bruiser meta, effectively, it could be possible. And it is going to be a top lane Sion. So Mew's locked it in. We'll see if they're going to decide to do any sort of lane swap, but this is a brand new champion, and we've seen a lot of new champions being locked in this series.
It's the Battle of the Atlantic. You got to pull out all the stops here. TSM took game 1. We're looking for Lemondogs, and Lemondogs fans, at least, to grab game 2 here. And you have to think, Lemondogs has kind of mixed fans. They're also growing a fan base right now. TSM has a huge crowd behind them. They're not even on home turf.
Yeah, it's the truth. The European crowd is getting behind Team Solo Mid, and you can't blame them. I think a lot of the hype coming into this series around TSM, the performance, Bjergsen joining the team, I think we've seen it, and I would go so far as to say they've lived up to it right now because of that Game 1 performance.
It looked good on paper so far. It looks good on the pitch as well. They are going to be on to the Rift. TSM now on the blue side, 1 game up. Lemondogs looking to keep their Battle of the Atlantic hopes alive.
The first thing I want to point out is that I'm So Fresh has picked himself up a sweeping lens, so he's going to be potentially looking to invade, maybe looking to get in their faces a little bit more, deny some vision. I've just taken a look at Mew's Runes and Masteries, and he is running AP. He started with that Doran's Ring, and he's got himself 25 AP to kick this off. So we may see Mew try challenge Zed, or he may even try play AP Sion against Shyvana. And I guess if you stun Shyvana while she's burning out, she can't run you down. So I can see the theory in that one. As it stands, Lemondogs grouping on the bottom. If a hook lands, Odd One's in trouble.
Oh, man. Odd One gets hit up here. They go into the fight. Oh, it looks like it gets hit as well by another after consecutive stun. First blood going to I'm So Fresh. A complete flip-flop from last game.
Very, very good start. We've been seeing those level 1 fans throughout the weekend, the very defensive, slow starts, and that was, you know, it's a blind hook. We've seen Zerius just chucking it out across the wall, managed to connect, and then they followed up with those on-hit stuns. So very good pickup, 4 assists down the board, and you'll see a couple extra consumables being purchased here by Lemondogs as they go to lane. That's a good start for them, but they need to keep doing it, finding those hooks, finding those picks, and make sure they get into the advantageous position.
So with that happening, it doesn't really stop much if TSM really wanted to go in and do something. Maybe it does, but it looks like they're still going to be a bit aggressive on this one.
Yeah, just an aside. It's just something that Odd One likes to do, dying early. He did it at Worlds. He's doing it here. It's just a thing that he's doing. What we are seeing, though, is some challenge on this red buff. As TSM, they may want to pick a fight, and this is 3v2 if there's a stun coming down, but because Odd One started with a volatile spike.
Oh, grab onto Turtle, just a little bit more harass. Looks like the red buff will be taken away. So again, they say something's going to happen. We're still going to try to take this. And he actually does get it. That was quite close.
Yeah, so Odd One smiting that away to secure the buff steal, in addition to positioning himself in a good body block. Make sure there was no risk of a mystic shot going awry. Now, I'm So Fresh may go in for an invade here to try and even up the balance, as Mew is just going to land a stun and back off.
And it looks like the Odd One says, I'm going to meet you right down there. Clearly walks through the mid lane and stops the invade.
Yeah, he wanted to send a message. He's just signaling to I'm So Fresh that he's moving to the red buff, and that if I'm So Fresh doesn't have any form of backup, which they knew he didn't, all of the members of Lemondogs were accounted for. Odd One's just presence in that mid lane scares
Now he doesn't know if he hasn't seen it, like he's waiting for him or not, because he's just sitting next to the buff. I think he's going to start at any time now. But he was a little weary there. Cost him some time, but that's even going to cost I'm So Fresh time because he did not cut up to where he would need to go.
Yeah, and there's a buff stolen as well. And this low-level trade is basically going to set the tone because Mew, with his stun and his shield, is already losing to Bjergsen Zed. And I feel like that trend is going to continue up until the point Bjergsen can kill him.
It's mana versus energy. He's consistently going to spit out those spells every time he has the chance. 300 gold lead, slightly picked up only from that first blood. We'll see if they can close this in the form of CS. That's where they gained a bit of their lead last time. Whoa, right out in the open, forcing the flash instead of just walking perpendicular, because you can't really tell where Thresh is going to throw that.
Wild Turtle playing that one safe, burning the Summoner spell, but I think he's going to have to back off and play this one a little safer. Wild Turtle and Special have been very far pushed up that lane and has been trying to cause headaches for Crazy Caps and Zerius, and it cost him. It cost him a Summoner spell. There was no real need to be that far up at this stage in the game.
There's still a lot of kill potential that comes into this lane now. I'm So Fresh onto Vi, able to put out damage, and you can see they're already going to try and work off of that flash being down.
And very importantly, we see TSM and Lemondogs, they're in the 2v2 situation, which is playing into the Lemondogs' hands a little bit because they struggled in the 2v1 situation. They basically lost the game by 7 minutes in game 1, thanks to some poor rotations and decision-making in the 2v1 setup. This time around, it's a lot more standard because they're in the situation that they'll be playing like they do in solo queue, and you can see the players already keeping up in CS, and even though, you know, Mew is very low in HP, he's not super far behind Bjergsen's CS numbers.
I'm So Fresh hits another wall here. He goes to the top lane, but he walked through so many wards, even around the golems near that red buff, so spending more time not getting what he wanted. We'll see if it hurts him as we go into the game. He did get first blood, so he's trying to get himself back into this one. Wards already. He's going to start helping out the lanes a little bit more. Farming for Turtle. These guys flash down, and they're perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget that the wave is pushing against Turtle, so it gives him that air of sort of safety to sit back. And of course, Vi's pre-6 ganks are not as spectacular as you'd like them to be. So playing a little bit slower is... I'm So Fresh. Bjergsen trying to...
it just cuts through.
Trying to do a little bit of like a DC fake, as it were. The one thing that is good for I'm So Fresh is you've got hard stuns in all the lanes. Thresh, as well as Renekton, as well as Sign. So when he does gank with Assault and Battery, there's a lot of CC time to work through. Schleier's overextended.
Them bites, getting the burnout on him as well. Schleier sliced right through the odd one. Very well timed.
Very well timed indeed. And they didn't first pick that last game. Lucian was first picked in game 1. You just see a little bit of a lantern bait, you know, try to make TSM think somebody's coming in.
Is somebody there?
And the thing that it does is, even though there was no one coming, and TSM will read that and say, hey, nobody's pushing, what it does is it plants a seed of doubt.
Oh, yeah.
There may be somebody coming, so you can never...
Now, every time he does it.
Exactly. You never know if somebody's actually going to be in your face. And still, Wild Turtle playing very, very aggressive, as Wild Turtle always does.
Touching on the rumble in the jungle right quick, I'm So Fresh definitely having a much better game as we see a bit of a roam here. Oddwin has stayed in the jungle. He's 5. I'm So Fresh is 4, and at 6, we were going to see Mew top, but the backing just made him back as well.
Yeah, Wild Turtle with a good move to get away a little bit quickly. He wasn't in threat of being caught by Xerius, and I think even if Mew was able to get in with a stun, I don't think Thresh would have been able to close the distance quickly enough to land any more CC. So, well, pretty wise to get back thanks to the wards.
This is a farm, help my team get kills Scion. Simple. Mobility boots in the beginning, Doran's ring to start, and he is, again, he's going to head back to top lane.
Yeah, AP Scions with Moby boots, this is...
Oh, that ward, he's going to see it go away, too.
This is something we see a lot. This is something that we've seen a lot in solo queue. It was trending upwards earlier in the year, and you know, we've seen it once or twice in competitive play, and unless I'm horribly mistaken, I don't actually think it's ever picked up victories. So it's a ploy that if you don't get kills early, you tend to fall off so incredibly quickly because you need to get all that ability power. And right now, Hook goes out, doesn't catch anyone. Odd One is ready to respond if Mew does go in.
That ward they had in the Tri-Brush, always putting it down, has consistently helped them to stay safe in this situation, and farming very well at the turret, 53 to 51 in that situation. And we do see that they're continuously pressuring. Dyrus back to the bottom lane. Bjergsen finds himself alone in mid. He doesn't feel he needs to roam because everybody's playing it safe. They know not to get crazy right now.
Yeah, we do see ultimates being traded there. Dranga's Descent as well as the Dominus between our now top laners. But the one thing that Bjergsen is getting, thanks to the roaming Mew, is a 20 CS advantage. He's been left alone in the lane to just CS at his heart's content. I don't think... Actually, has that red buff camp not been killed? It doesn't look like it. With a single minion in there, it doesn't look like it has. So a good vision ward there from the Odd One. That's going to allow him to challenge for red buff when it does eventually respawn and just try to get even more map presence.
Ooh, Fresh trying to come out here. They will decide to kind of pull off onto that. Bjergsen. So he's only got the Cutlass right now, but you can see so much roam from Schleier, or rather Mew, that he has to. He can't fight that. He has really no armor. The shield's being burst out. Turtle getting caught up quite close, but it's because special was just on the outside. And you can see they wasted quite a bit there, and they may be able to turn this one around. Lantern coming in, the Q's that oh, the back. He's trying to do the fadeaway culling, but it's not going to be enough damage. He chooses Andy, but they try to get the burst down. He gets the punch in. Ask questions later. The follow-up and the true shot barrage coming in for a double on that one. Actually goes 1 for 1 very nicely for LD.
Yeah, Lemondogs at the end of the day managed to make that one work for them. Wild Turtle still staying way overextended. I'm not sure if Wild Turtle needs to be pushing that deep in this 2v2 situation because it ended up costing him. Got caught by all the CC. They end up losing only Thresh to secure 2 kills. And I'm So Fresh, now on Vi, looking a lot more threatening than he was in Amumu in the previous game.
Turtle getting that BF sword, actually picked up on the other side as well with sustain. TSM going for a 3-minute later dragon than previously in our first game. Still going to be theirs. That is going to be a good punch of gold for them. They can get some items under their belt. Let's see what Bjergsen's sitting on, actually. His gold is right now 1,200, and he does have the most gold on his team at 3,200. Most gold in the game.
Well, farming very well for himself right now, as you can see in this mid lane. And, you know, he's been uncontested. You know, Mew has not challenged him. I'm So Fresh has not visited mid at all. I'm So Fresh has not felt the need to. And we'll see if Bjergsen actually wants to try and, you know, challenge Mew for kills. Now remember that every time Sion manages to pick up kills with his W, oh, we'll talk in a second.
Zerius getting hit up quite hard. I don't know if he wanted all that fight right in front of him. Now the AD carries to face it out. Turtle definitely has the upper hand in this one.
Coming up.
It's going to be big. Sion just on the backside. These are boots, mobility boots as well. So Turtle may have a tricky situation here. He's going to get himself. That's correct. Going to go off before he gets the damage. Yes, he gets in range. There's the gaze, and he's going to be able to get the final shots in with the ignite.
Oh, it's not over yet. Now Bjergsen does have Deathmark. Does he want to go in? It looks like it.
Missed it quite hard on that one, so he doesn't get that damage. Would have thrown on the Deathmark and had nothing to follow up with, but now he does. Those skills are back up, and he actually misses the additional damage again. Very nice play by Mew, and these guys are handling a 2v1 very well.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to get away cleanly. And Lemondogs now, for the first time, looking like they can challenge TSM. They're still behind on gold, thanks to being down a tower and a dragon, but they are up in kills. And the thing I wanted to highlight about Mew Sion is whenever he manages to pick up CS while his W is turned on, while he's got that axe of his glowing red, he's growing in HP, developing hit points, which is going to allow him to survive the burst of Bjergsen's Z. So maybe this is a quasi-counter, and we'll have to see as the game progresses.
Something we haven't really touched on yet, and it seems to be working somewhat. The gold is down, the kills are up, and we all know those can sway. But they've switched lanes. Is that really the best option for a second game after a loss, to switch lanes? Or do you try again at other champions in your pool?
Oh, we'll see right now as Bjergsen's being dived.
Oh my God, I thought they were gonna hold off, but they did not. They are getting zero cares about the turret around them. And the odd one forced back on this.
Going to be very difficult for TSM to deal with those dives. Sion, Vi, landing, allowing you to then land Thresh CC is almost impossible to counter. And Bjergsen didn't have his Deathmark for any sort of escape available at that time. So we'll have to see how well Bjergsen can respond to it. A little bit more attention from the odd one wouldn't go amiss. I think now the Lemondogs realize they've got their ultimates available, and you see that first gank able to secure themselves a kill onto Bjergsen in that mid lane.
It's coming up on 13 minutes. The gold is only a 600 gold difference. That one turret has fallen in the mid lane, but that's only because Mew was out and not in the lane. Every other lane has been seeming to fare quite well so far.
And it's just because it's like solo queue. Purely because the Lemondogs are now more comfortable.
Yeah,
and you know,
that's a really good point.
Jat and Wicked talked about it during the analyst desk, is that in the 2v1s, the teleport top lane into a 3v1 dive, not roaming necessarily as quickly from I'm So Fresh, it was decisions that you don't experience in maybe even ranked fives as much as you do against scrims, you know, when you have to explicitly practice it and play it. And, you know, this time around it's a little bit more standard, and they're keeping the game much more even. 13 minutes on the clock, and it's only 300 gold difference, and Lemondogs are down a dragon and a tower. That's very good for the Lemondogs squad.
Let's see what they can do. 6-2 on the scoreboard. 3 of those kills in the hands of I'm So Fresh. Not something he was able to do last game on Amumu, who he is feeling more comfortable, I should say, himself. Looking to push this lane, but seeing on the backside, he's gonna hope those Moby boots keep him moving. They get the damage on that. Deathmark won't kill, but they may be able to follow up with more. Repel comes in, Death's Caress is back on, so he's got a little bit of health to mitigate that, or shield, I should say, and he's gonna get the safety. They try to go in onto I'm So Fresh because it's very low for Bjergsen. Oddone's going to be forced to run.
Good.
And it's Thresh coming from the top side. Zerius coming in, going to get the flay, possibly the death sentence. He doesn't even get the assist.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. The hit points there for Mew Sion working in his favor. Now Bjergsen's caught.
Well, Dyrus is going to fight while Bjergsen getting caught up. The communication completely going awry for this situation. Dyrus getting flayed as he tries to get out of that one. And it looks like he is forced to flash over the wall and burn out to safety.
Very good passage of play here for Lemondogs. They now take the gold lead, and they're not letting TSM dictate the pace. They've put a couple kills on the board. They're roaming effectively. And most importantly, Zed's burst potential is not at the I can kill you phase for Sion. Potentially for Vi right now, and most definitely not Renekton, is now Wild Turtling Special in trouble.
Oh, Mew just on the outside, a good stun on the back. He saves the Death Caress, but he takes a good amount of damage himself. This allows Turtle to go hard. They are going to put it to a 2v1. Tibbers is chasing as well, and it's going to be Zerius always there in the last moment. Zerius to save Crazy Caps, and he does. Flashes over the wall. How is he 2v1ing with the Tibbers on his back as well? Wild Turtle finally picks up the kill. I'm So Fresh now to try his hand. The blue buff is there. He gets a punch. Ask questions later. Turtle's going to have the red buff proc on. No, actually, the red buff wears off, the blue buff is only there, and he may be able to kite it.
Wow,
the kill goes down, and the Siege minion! Blue minion OP.
That was fantastic. Somebody needs to give Special a medal, because the Tibbers stun burns through some of the shield on Mew, and also prevented him getting the stun down. All of that stun duration time allowed Wild Turtle to get auto attack after auto attack, plus his passive over and over and over. And Special just letting stun after stun as the members of Lemondogs came in. That was a good, strong fight for TSM, and now all of a sudden Mew wants to challenge for Bjergsen.
Oh gosh, they keep going in. He knows he can't get that first kill onto Mew, but he still wants it every time. Calls back to the shadow. Very well played by Bjergsen. Completely dodges out what they were thinking.
And almost takes out Zerius in the background, thanks to all the splash damage coming out from Zed's abilities. So good play by Bjergsen to get out alive. The red buff was actually stolen away, unless I was mistaken, then by the odd one. So they managed to get the buff that they were invading for. And now TSM are setting up for Dragon. We do see Slayer around, but he's alone, and he'd have to go in completely solo if he wants to steal this buff. Good play from I'm So Fresh to steal a blue buff in response.
A little back and forth here from both teams. I'm So Fresh sitting completely where the odd one was sitting last game. Whoa, Mew taking some good damage there. Has to Cryptic Gaze to get himself out, and that is not a matchup that you want to be seeing. Turtle is starting to get very big right now, but it's almost the last Whisper finished on the side of Crazy Cap, so that's going to be big damage as well.
Wants to play with Bjergsen. He's 7-1. Let's see how this goes.
Punching the Ninja back. He actually is taking quite good damage. Whoa, there's the true shot barrage. He did not see it coming. They are capitalizing very well, Lemondogs are.
That was a 7-1 Vi. Whisper of the Elder Lizard as well as a Phage. Double Dorans to boot as well. I'm So Fresh is a scary, scary threat. And we talked about it in the pregame during Picks and Bans, that with Vi being a better option than Lee Sin, now Wild Turtle's been stunned.
Oh my gosh, stunned. I was going to say, how far are they going to go? Possibly the kill, but the shield saves him, throwing down his own lantern.
Yeah, it does manage to get out alive. Culling not being used by Wild Turtle. He's actually quite hesitant to use the culling in these fights, as we've been seeing. And again, Special with a counterplay. The moment Lemondogs commit to a fight, Special lands a reply stun, which allows TSM to re-engage, or in that case, manage to back away quite safely.
Definitely going on the mobility boots build, at least for Sion as well as Zerius. The catches are really what is making the game for them. We just see Zerius actually picking up the sweeper for himself, selling that trinket out. They're wanting to regain the map now as they're getting a bit of a lead, but down in gold still.
Now careful of the hook, right? And we'll see how this passage of play goes, because Lemondogs, they're finding picks, they're getting kills, but they're not controlling the map.
Right, they're starting to lose that.
TSM's dictating when dragons get taken, when towers get taken, when buffs are stolen. And it's because the Lemondogs team's not particularly good at sieging. You know, true shot barrage comes down from the side, but you've got 3 melee champions. Yes, they can dive, but they don't want to sit in a prolonged, drawn-out battle under a tower because it doesn't really suit the Lemondogs composition.
Let's look back at Vi as well. The Lizard Elder, probably one of the very few, if only one we've seen coming out this weekend, building it because he was so far ahead. But do you want 7 kills on your Vi and continuously going there?
It's never the ideal situation, but obviously it's working for Lemondogs.
It's still
right
a killable
now.
Vi.
Of course, of course. And, you know, Vi can get to the point where she is as beefy and tanky as a Shyvana and a Renekton and is unkillable. But the thing that needs to start happening from here on out is those Vi ganks need to translate into gold for Sion, Renekton, and Ezreal. Get them to that same sort of godlike status, and then the team fights are guaranteed. At which point, Lemondogs can begin tower diving more successfully. Because right now, that's not tanky stats. I'm So Fresh doesn't want to go under a tower because he's got a tiny bit of additional HP, but he's not super beefy.
Sion working on 118 total health gain, so he is going Glass Cannon with the ability to build a little HP on that E stack. So we'll see how he fares as we go later into the game.
If you do the math, 120, that's a little bit below a third of a Giant's Belt HP. You get plus 380.
Yeah.
And that's going to cost you 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
So you're talking 350 odd gold worth of additional HP at the 20 minutes. And that's going to continue to grow as you see Mew just continue wiping out those waves. So I like the way it's going to help him survive, but not against 5. Very good defensive flash. No hesitation on that, realizing that if he was trapped by anything, he was going to go down.
Activating that talisman right away. We actually do not see anything on the other side in the way of a talisman. So we'll have to see how they fare. 0-3-7 on the support to 1-3 and 4. There have been quite a few battles, and I'd say both Xerius and Xpecial have had great plays for their AD carries throughout this game, which leaves them at 4-3-1 for Turtle and 3-0-3 for Crazy Caps, which is completely different from what we saw last game.
Yeah, completely. This time around, Crazy Caps can actually have an impact in the game.
Yeah.
This time around, Crazy Caps has got the ability to deal damage, the ability to pick up kills. He cannot afford to get caught by Bjergsen, though. That is a very, very big thing that a Cocoon cannot catch him from the Odd One's Elise. And right now, TSM, again, just finding an opportunity, and they're going to take this tower.
Flex their muscles right in front of the turret. They have enough range damage to not put themselves in a bad spot for that.
So, learning from game number 1, Lemondogs lost the matchup arguably because of inexperience and decision-making in the 2v1 early stages of the game. Looking now at the 2v2s, the way TSM is rotating, moving around the map, challenging for buffs, challenging towers, challenging dragons, shows that the Lemondogs are inexperienced at this game now. They don't necessarily have the vision they need. They're not challenging for their own buffs all that often. They haven't challenged for a dragon. And right now, Mew's been caught.
Mew is caught. Not much damage on that. He actually used all the abilities, so the Death Mark's going to land by itself. Odd One from the backside, throwing the Cocoon over the shoulder of Bjergsen for the high 5 kill.
Flash Cocoon from Odd One. That was a very good play in shutting down Mew, making him think twice about running everywhere impeded. He's definitely going to help him out. And again, TSM realizing red buff was up, put 4 people top, steal red, get a kill, put damage on the tower. They are playing the roaming, rotating game now, much better than Lemondogs.
Quick shot, you nailed it when you said it's about the objective control here for Team Solo Mid. The fights are always looking good in favor of LD, but now after the turrets, it's going to be the health bars. They go for Xerius, he gets to the back line, and it is going to be I'm So Fresh going down. That Vi is still killable, and now that 7-2-2 is off the map.
Massive chunk of gold gets picked up by Wild Turtle as well, so he's been struggling a little bit thanks to playing over-aggressive, and he gives himself a nice 500 additional gold thanks to shutting him down. That's I'm So Fresh, of course, and the split push now 4v1 game, TSM showing the ability to pull the trigger won them that fight. Tibbers going in, stunning members of Lemondogs, and the follow-up from TSM being strong and coordinated allowed them to secure it. Now Dragon's up, and look at this, TSM here on time,
already ready.
No one to challenge, and this is going to be another Dragon going the way of the North Americans.
There's a huge factor of knowing when Dragon's coming up or already being in the motion for it to come up. The seconds are huge in that.
You have to be planning ahead.
Yeah. TSM has done it since the beginning. The first levels were Lemondogs. They knew what they could do. They knew how they had to fight. Even I'm So Fresh, we said he was kind of being chased around, not chased around, but went to the red, messed up, went up top, didn't get anything out of it. But he's still the highest kills in the game. They just didn't flow that into every lane, like you said.
Yeah, and I'm So Fresh, I'm not sure if he should have gone all-out offensive. Yes, it allowed him to get more kills. Yes, it helped him in the early stages of the game.
Home guard upgrade super fast. Well, I guess recently, but.
But now you've got to the point that he's building himself a Trinity Force, as opposed to going for a Sunfire Cape, a Randians, you know, building armor to deal with the 3 armor, you know, damage dealers of TSM. I feel like maybe if he'd gone more tanky, it could have helped Lemondogs in the prolonged fights that are about to start happening as we start seeing the 4v4s and 5v5s taking shape around the map.
It almost, the way the composition seems to work with Glass Cannon Scion, you want that guy to kill somebody. He's not going to be Cryptic Gaze peeling for someone. Schlea is going to be in the back line with Renekton as well, so they don't really have any peel for these guys. They're all fending for themselves.
Yeah, they have to. There's no option at the moment. Now, we are seeing Mewing running into Dyrus, but that's pretty good damage, actually, as the rest of TSM, they've started off Baron. Look at the vision. Team Solo Mid have got complete vision control.
Absolutely.
No one's going to approach the Baron. And because of the bait that Dyrus is playing, he's a juicy target. The rest of Lemondogs, they've sniffed it out. Baron's been secured, and Dyrus is still alive.
Dyrus could be dead, actually, in this situation. They find Sirius on the backside. 1 for 1 in that situation. And that's going to be the support being down for the top laner. It looks like they will decide to back off of this one after Baron's
They
down.
trade top laner for support, which is never an ideal trade.
Right.
But TSM got Baron off of it. Dyrus played such a juicy target that by time Lemondogs clicked, hang on a minute, we're being duped. They ran to Baron, got there too late, and TSM was able to dive over the wall and secure themselves another kill. And now they're in an 8,000 gold lead, 6,000 gold lead at this point in time. And just looking very, very strong with Baron, the regen. I think now's the time to siege.
Yeah.
This is the replay, of course.
Just a bit caught out, but like we said, this is worth. This is what worth means.
It was intentional. I mean, it was intentional. That entire death was done so, was setting up Lemondogs to pull them away, distract them. You actually notice Mew, about 30 seconds before that, threw down the stun, tried to challenge him with that Death's Caress, with the Cryptic Gaze. And right now, Xpecial and Mew running at a mile a minute, but it's both home guard boots, and they're not going to catch each other.
What? I'm So Fresh is backing off. They don't really like this right now. There's pings coming in. They are being pinched on so hard. The pincer move now from Team Solo Mid. I don't think they're actually going to be able to get this. I feel like somebody's going to stun and just get out in time, and everybody's going to turn tail. No! I'm So Fresh wanted all of it, and nobody else is there to back him up.
Nobody committed. Now Mew's the next one that's in trouble. He's going to get stunned up in a second, and he's going to get shut down.
I'm going to say I'm So Fresh did that, knowing he was going to get pinched out, trying to leave Tribrush, and he was saying, no, leave, get out of here. My death is for you, but he goes down anyways.
Oh, look at the death mark following through. Crazy Cap's just going to get popped.
Oh, he gets out. The Mystic Shot barely swinging by on Bjergsen right there. Gets out with very subpar 100 HP. And Dyrus, again, is off on his own, controlling more than, or 2 people right now. Not more than.
But now look at this. Look at the bait. Here comes Wild Turtle from downtown. Manages to secure himself a kill, and they're on the inhibitor turret.
That dragon is protecting his gold. They are going to be able to take down I'm So Fresh. You can see that Lemondogs have kind of realized where the game has gone in the hands of Team Solo Mid. The Battle of the Atlantic, strongly fought so far in Game 2, very much in the eyes of Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, much better performance in the opening stages for Lemondogs, but not necessarily responding to the map control that TSM asserted for themselves. Xpecial's going to stand up. He may go down.
Schlea's getting himself in for the last bit of damage that he can do, looking to drop the 8th turret of the game. It would be the Nexus. They get in for some turtle damage, but he puts the shell on, calling in the fade away, and he tries to get the kill. Crazy Cabs, he's on half of everything, but he's still trying to run on full. Can they get the last turret? There's no minions left, and it looks like they stave off the battle for now, but they got about 1,000 HP combined.
Yeah, not over yet, as here comes Schlea.
They go back in. It's going to be 2 kills coming out. We do see Odd One and Lucian going down. Turtle finally falls as he can't escape deep enough into the shell. Dyrus, he calls it a day as well. They're going to be back for more soon.
Yeah, great presence there from TSM, allowing themselves to take down the inhibitor. They get a Nexus turret. Yes, they lost the fight for sticking around, but I think they're feeling confident. I think the way that the last 7-8 minutes has gone, it's allowed them to set this one up. In the replay right now, it's just the retreat, of course, of Schlea re-engaging. Good knock-up, actually, landing from I'm So Fresh's Vine. Truthfully, TSM should have backed out earlier. You know, if they were making
They're
right
feeling
decision.
a bit strong.
But, you know, they're feeling confident. I think maybe overestimating the goal lead that they had accrued. It is 7 towers to 2. They've had complete control of Dragons. At the time, it was only sitting around sort of 6 or so thousand, which is still a good chunk, but not necessarily enough to be hanging around when you've got everybody on low HP.
13,300 gold coming in on Wild Turtle. He's about 3K above anybody in this game.
747. Being a Boeing will do that to you.
And you got to
just take flight.
He was not that early. That was a 303 Ezreal. These
Yeah.
guys have completely changed the game around. Xpecial got distortion on his mobility boots to continue the flash tibbers coming out sooner. Everything's been working towards the win.
All of the towers, everything's working in their favor. Now Mew's being chased.
Oh, Mew, he does get the Thresh Express to safety, but the death sentence was written.
Yeah, popped like a balloon, as it were. The rest of TSM now playing this one by the numbers. League of Legends by the numbers. Push the objectives, push the towers. Every single tower, with the exception of inhibitor towers, are now basically left. Have been dropped down, and TSM, as we said, sieging. They got Baron, they started the siege, and they're just winning it back-to-back with this fight.
Crazy Caps gets locked up right there. Good hit from Wild Turtle. It looks like it's going to be I'm So Fresh going down next. Shlaya is the focus right now for the tank to go down that quickly. They are giving zero cares about the turret as usual here. That will go down. The inhibitor might not even follow because they could go for the Nexus.
Yeah, the Nexus is available. There are super minions pushing in, and I think that's going to be the focus here for Team Solo Mid. Slow start to the game. Wild Turtle does take a big chunk and actually gets hooked once again. And look at that. Sirius is...
Oh! Zerius gets rocked down there. A completely different start to this game, but the same result in the end as Team Solo Mid took back the driver's seat after a very formidable start from Lemondogs, but it just wasn't enough.
2-0. TSM take the lead in the Battle of the Atlantic with 2 points over Europe's 1. And a very good performance. Lemondogs looking better in game 2, but definitely not at the level they need to be to compete with the current Team Solo Mid.
I am excited to see what happens with Lemondogs, though. A team that will willingly switch up the lanes may not be the smartest choice, but can really open up a champion pool for a team. It absolutely worked in the beginning there. A little too much roaming. They could have diverted at one point.
And I also have to question the drafting phase. I have to question who is making the decisions here from Lemondogs. What are they basing their theories off? Malphite and Amumu with the Wombo combo didn't necessarily work out. Zed being countered by Sion. In theory, I can sort of see some arguments to be made, but it didn't actually work out the way that I think Lemondogs were hoping. And the same thing happened at Worlds. You know, we've seen a Swain mid, we've seen Malphite as well. It didn't work out for the Lemondogs at Worlds.
Right.
And I think that we really need to step back and look at from drafting to actual in-game execution, because there's a lot of things that need to be worked on here for the Lemondog squad.
Absolutely. The way they played the Scion right? Zed's not going to come in on you, or you're just going to get stunned. So he tried to roam, but I'm So Fresh was doing the same thing, and no lane was getting anything out of it. It was a lot of walk around in the beginning part of the game. After their first 11 kills, they really didn't get any more.
No. And the problem was, even though they were getting the kills, I mean, they had 11-2 at one point in the game, if memory serves. It didn't convert to objectives. They were getting kills, and that was it. And at this level of play, it's the towers, it's the dragons, it's the buff steals. Those are the things that matter. Those are the tiny little inches that you need to take at every moment to actually get yourself a lead and take control of the game.
And overall, the inventories, they really tell a story as well. Damage. Scion goes for the mobility boots right into the Rabadons, and then he started building the Seeker's Arm Guard. Couldn't even get more power out, but he was like, I need defense. You had the Lizard Elder into the